Hi, my name is Tara Alder with Alderbrook Healing Arts and Absolute Health Medical Center in Eugene, Oregon. I also run Alderbrook Healing Waves in Kailua Kona, Hawaii. Thanks for tuning in to the Alderbrook Healing channel again today. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about how we can improve our intestinal integrity. And the reason I want to talk to you about this today is because you are not only what you eat, you are what you assimilate and possibly what you don't evacuate. There are 3 basic steps that you can take. Number 1 is chew, chew, chew. The more you chew, the better you feel with every meal. When you take the time to rest and digest and give attention within, you are able to break open the cell structures with your teeth as you chew more than you think you need to. When you break open those cell structures, you are able to set free the vital life nutrients that can then be easily absorbed and assimilated later on in your digestive tract. Unchewed food is not only not digestible, and so it's not going to give you the energy that you need, but it also is going to require a lot of energy for your body to process it through you as waste. In addition to that, if it stagnates in the long, hollow tubular muscle of your digestive tract, it can actually clog receptor sites, compromising further absorption of nutrients. And if it stagnates longer than it ideally would be intended to, anything longer than 18 to 24 hours, if it's a sugary food, like a starchy carbohydrate, or maybe if it's a protein, it can either ferment or putrefy. The end result of anything that's fermenting and putrefying within your digestive tract is going to be the production of different gases. And I'm talking gases that you don't want to have passing in public. You know what I mean? We're talking indole, skatol, ammonia, alcohol, formaldehyde, methane, and hydrogen, just to name a few. Okay? These are what we refer to as endotoxins. Toxins that your body is actually manufacturing due to faulty digestion. You can minimize that by resting and digesting and chewing more than you think you need to. Okay? The other step is going to be to give yourself an opportunity to have a bowel movement after every meal. Ideally, when you consume food, you want to pass all of the fibers all the way through your body 18 to 24 hours after you've consumed it. And when you consume your food, you're expanding to receive. And you want to contract and release lower down. You want to learn to ride that wave of peristalsis that actually begins in your esophagus when you swallow. Of course, you're not going to be passing something that you just ate, all right? Gravity is not the main factor here. If it were the main factor, you would eat and then it would drop out, right? That's not happening. So you're relying on peristalsis, which is a very fancy term for the wave-like movements of the muscles of the channel of your digestive tract expanding and contracting around the bolus, the food that you've consumed that's been mixed with digestive juices in your mouth. Once it goes from your stomach and it's churned around with those digestive juices, it's then referred to as chyme. All right? It's a liquid substance and it has a consistency of split pea soup. You want to take the time and pass that chyme halfway through your colon, the long, hollow tubular muscle that's also referred to as your bowel. We have our bowel movements, right? At least hopefully. And it's also referred to as your large intestine. It's got a larger lumen, say, for example, the small intestine, which has a more narrow channel. The colon is responsible for absorbing water and forming stool. That's usually happening over here on this right-hand side after it receives the chyme from the small intestine. The peristalsis force it up against gravity around a corner underneath your liver and your gallbladder as it's absorbing water. A few remaining vitamins and minerals, like vitamin B and vitamin K, that are synthesized in your colon from the beneficial bacteria that hopefully you're abundant in. That will be another lecture. And then after it's midway through this transfers, it becomes more solid, like what you recognize when you defecate. And that solid matter is passed through your colon via the peristalsis, expanding and contracting. Ideally, when that matter reaches what we refer to as the sigmoid portion of your colon is going to expand to receive that. You're going to get nerve signals from that part of your colon that go to your brain and tells you, oop, it's time to poop. And within minutes, you're going to go to an appropriate place to evacuate, Ideally, you're going to be in a squatting position, and I'm just going to go ahead and show you. You notice that when you poop in the woods, you might poop a little bit more effectively. When you're squatting, you're holding these bowel channels open. When you're sitting on a modern toilet, you're actually blocking it in 2 places. Not so good. A lot of people have experienced that when they go to sit on a modern toilet, they know they gotta poop, but it's not coming out so easy, so they might push and maybe get some of it out. But then when they stand up to clean themselves up, then those bowel channels open up and matter drops down into that sigmoid, and then they can get back on the toilet and then complete their evacuation. So ideally, you do want to be in a squatting position, and if you give yourself an opportunity to have a bowel movement after every meal, you're much more likely to have that bowel movement. So when you expand to receive, you want to contract and release, making room for the new and the fresh and the vital. When things stagnate longer in your colon, what's happening is the bacterial decomposition of food is going a little south, so to speak. Fermentation and putrefaction occurs. And if that stagnates in the little bends and folds and curves in your colon, then you can have constant gas factories. Okay, so people with chronic gas, even if they're having regular bowel movements, probably have some fermenting and putrefying matter that's collected in the bends and the folds and the curves, and then their regular bowel movements are just bypassing those. Not a lot of fun. The loading in gas, we can live without. So trust me, follow these 3 very simple steps. I'm just going to review with you. Number 1 is rest and digest. I think I said it backwards earlier, so get it straight now. Number 1, rest and digest. Allow energy to go within. Okay. Number 2, chew more than you think you need to. All right. I'm not going to ask you to count all day, but just chew a little more than you think you need to. Number 3, time for me, which means take time to have a bowel movement. All right. It's as simple as that, people. If you want to understand on a deeper layer, I'm just going to explain to you the number 1 rule, the rest and digest. We've got these nervous systems. Our sympathetic nervous system, which is what I'm using right now as I'm making this video. I've got energy going to my extremities. It's not going within to my intestinal tract. I'm not trying to digest food right now. Okay? Sympathetic nervous system is kind of like your flight or fight nervous system. It's what keeps you going. It's what's going to steer your car out of the way if a Mack truck is heading toward you. Okay? It's what's going to keep you swimming if you're in water. All right? I know a lot of you, your parents told you to not go swimming right after eating a meal. That's very good advice, because most likely your sympathetic nervous system is going to keep functioning so that you can swim and not drown, right? But what that means is that the food that you just consumed is going to be sitting in your digestive tract and stagnating, and hopefully one meal is going to push the next through, because when that's happening, the regular digestive processes, the enzymes, the different, the hydrochloric acid, the, 1 to 2 liters of digestive juices that get produced that help contribute to the chemical digestion of your foods is not going to be occurring. Okay, your digestion is going to be compromised. All right, the nervous system that controls the digestive tract is called the parasympathetic. It's part of your autonomic nervous system. I like that because it kind of reminds me of automatic. I think it happens automatically. I can't force it. I can't will it with my mind like I will my sympathetic nervous system to work. So rest and digest. Chew, 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 and you'll have healthy poo, poo, poo. And then, of course, just give yourself an opportunity. That is a key step in retraining your bowel and in creating or improving intestinal integrity. For more information, you can check out my website, www.alderbrook.com. There is a section that's called Tara's Kick Booty Bowel Retraining Program. And I've got a few more details on that page, as well as lots of helpful information. My site doesn't sell you much. You can just click here and learn more. It's free educational information. Empower yourself. Enhance your intestinal integrity and live a happy, healthy life. Come see me in Kona this June if you want to have fun in the sun while learning more about how you can support your body's natural functions. Thanks for tuning in to Alderbrook Healing Channel. Aloha.